Hi everyone, Kelt here. So Meghan still hasn't given up her dream of going into politics, and they have hired a PR guru who helped re-elect Obama. Some of the comments in the Mail are as follows. One person says, "That ship has sailed. There's nothing that can redeem these two at this point." And then another says that it's just to change their image. They need to shut up and stay out of the public limelight. Yes, several of them are saying that ship has sailed. Another says, "God help us all." And another says it would be great because she would have to renounce her title. So it's a win-win. So they're talking about going to New York to live. So they didn't make it in Hollywood, so they obviously think Broadway is going to welcome them with open arms, that they stand a chance there. No, she would not be able to cope with the scrutiny if she was in politics, because she's so oversensitive to any sort of criticism anyway. Harry has also stirred up everything by revealing that the next Invictus Games will be held in Canada, and he has made it political, whatever people say, by saying that it's all about the grievances of the Indigenous people. He's getting on board another bandwagon and making it about politics and not making it about the injured soldiers who take part in these games. So he's talking about the games in 2025 taking place in Vancouver. It's not going that well regarding tours because Edward and Sophie have pulled out of their visit to Grenada after the controversy regarding William and Catherine's tour of the Caribbean last month. So it was cancelled but without any explanation, and it's being said that it was sensitivity over the fallout of the Cambridge's recent tour. Well, I think they handled it really well, that tour. Another piece of news which is great, and that is where Donald Trump says that the Queen should strip Meghan and Harry of all royal titles, which is what most of us think. The Mail says that Trump says the Queen should strip Meghan and Prince Harry of all royal titles, and he says the Duke of Sussex is whipped like no person I think I've ever seen, and predicts his marriage to Meghan will end. So he has urged the Queen to strip Harry and Meghan of all their royal titles, and he admonished Harry for being so disrespectful to the country and an embarrassment. He also said that the Queen should ban him from even visiting her in Britain and tell him, frankly, don't come around. He said that Harry had been led down a path and that he would go back to the UK on his hands and knees. Trump says that he expected the Sussexes' marriage to end with either Meghan deciding she likes another man better or Harry deciding that he didn't like being bossed around by the Duchess. He said that he wants to see what happens when the couple split, adding that he thinks they will divorce. He said that he's been a very good predictor and he's predicted almost everything, which he has. He said it'll end and it'll end bad. So, yeah, a wise comment from him. I also thought it was very telling that Piers edited the trailer and made it look as if Trump had thrown a wobbly and walked off from the interview. But it wasn't. It was, he'd said turn off the cameras at a different point at the end of the interview, didn't walk off in a strop. And yeah, it's just another way to try and make him look bad. I don't know why they bother. When I watched that interview, I almost thought that Piers Morgan looked slightly afraid of Donald Trump. And I thought, he is larger than life, his personality. I am a fan. I know many are not. I think that Piers Morgan looked slightly afraid of what he might say next. Because as we know, he does like to speak the truth. Back to the Sussexes, and even though it's being said that they have been invited by the Queen to come to the Platinum Jubilee, it's being said that Meghan has finished with the country and just would not be there. So it would have to be Harry on his own. I don't know whether she would allow that. But one thing that is happening is that the Cambridge children are going to be very much taking part in it. So I don't know what that means. Probably be riding in a carriage and definitely will be on the balcony. Maybe they'll have some role introducing them to royal life. There are quite a lot of comparisons now with the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial being very much in the news. I am following it to a degree, and I think it's opening eyes as to the fact that it could possibly be true that Harry is whipped. Men have not been shown the same level of support and sympathy as women when it comes down to domestic abuse. I think it is good that the whole trial is being televised, because I think there are many men that have been silenced, because even the police will laugh sometimes at a man who says he's being abused by his wife or whatever. And I think it's good that this is bringing it out into the public eye. So another article is saying that the Queen quashes health fears as she visits beloved horses for the 4th day in a row. I don't know what that proves. All you see is what looks like her face in a car, through a car window. There are those that are saying that it's very much smacks of a chess game, that the Queen appearing with the 2 white horses, that it says something. With all that Meghan has done to the royal family, there's been no real hit back from the senior royals, unlike what happened when Wallis Simpson was in the middle of the abdication crisis, and it's said that the Queen Mother brutally humiliated Wallis Simpson. It's said that the Queen Mother had a vendetta against Wallis Simpson, the American socialite who married King Edward VIII, who was king for a very short time. As most of us know, he dramatically abdicated the throne in December 1936 so that he could tie the knot with an American divorced socialite. But back then it was a big thing. I mean, it would be quite a big thing now. So the Queen's mother was said to have despised Wallis Simpson and inflicted revenge on her in May 1937. It was days before she and Edward were due to be married, and they were told by the King that although that they would be known as the Duke and Duchess of Windsor once they were married, she would not be given the title of Her Royal Highness once they had got married. So why didn't the Queen use that example for Meghan? You know, it had already been done by her mother. It was said that the Queen Mother, who was Queen Elizabeth then, blamed Wallis Simpson for her husband's trauma that he suffered having to be king. He had not been prepared for it, and he wasn't well equipped to be king. So it's said that she carried a long vendetta against the Windsors as a result of that. So depriving her, Mrs. Simpson, of the title of HRH was what she felt was a punishment. So, bearing that in mind, why didn't the Queen take away their HRH? I mean, could she not have taken away the HRH from Meghan and not Harry? I don't think it's possible. It would have had to have been both. So are Meghan and Harry going to come to the Platinum Jubilee to help their brand? Because it seems that everything they do is to help their brand. So would it benefit from that, even if they get tomatoes thrown at them or booed? And they have been booed before, more than once. Do you think that she would do this as a last-ditch attempt to help her brand? I don't think her brand could benefit from anything at the moment. Going into politics, or trying to attempt to go into politics. It was said that she might attempt, so that sounds like most people realise that she's no way going to achieve getting into politics. She won't get anywhere with it. She won't last 5 minutes. The first bit of criticism levelled at her, or the first bit of her past presented to her, or if she was confronted with something from her past, she would probably fall apart. Royal historian David Starkey explained the significance of HRH and why it was such a big deal that it was removed from Wallis Simpson. He said the title Royal Highness defines the sovereign and the immediate heirs to the throne, So it is the badge of, and I quote, insiderdom, end quote. So Wallace's biographer, Anna Seba, also spoke, and she said the significance of not making Wallace HRH was that nobody would curtsy to her if they came back to England. So actually this was a real snub, a real humiliation at a number of levels. And Edward always fought against it. He apparently said, I cannot possibly bring my wonderful wife back to England to be humiliated if people are not going to curtsy to her. So they were both exiled as a result. So why didn't this happen with Harry and Meghan? Why not? Everything else is so similar. They lived at Frogmore, the same as them. Some of the clothes that Meghan wears, some of the looks she has resembles Wallace. And Harry definitely looks like his, what would he be, great-uncle? Great-great-uncle. So all this has brought William closer than ever to his father. He says that he's met William many times, watched him develop from a slightly awkward young man into one who is decisive and self-confident. And he's also made contact with numerous royal aides and courtiers who have mostly spoken about him off the record. And one of the first things that they've said is that there's little doubt that William will be a very different sort of monarch from his father or grandmother. So according to him, William and Catherine both get very vocal during arguments because William is known to shout a lot. And in fact, they both shout. I mean, this is a normal relationship, that Catherine has a calming influence. So what are they trying to say? I mean, that sounds pretty normal to me. So why is all this being brought out? Every picture that I see nowadays of Harry, he's looking so miserable and so unhappy or angry. And Meghan has that permagrin on her face. So the Times has a great article by Giles Coren, What Would the Queen Do Without Harry? And he says it doesn't bear thinking about what horrors and indignities would befall Her Majesty without her grandson's protection. He says that he doesn't know why everyone is so down on Prince Harry, and of course he had to check that the Queen is protected and has the right people around her on his whirlwind visit to Britain last week. And then he says if he doesn't check up on her once every couple of years, then who is going to? Why did Harry say that? And why does he think that once a year is okay? One thing's for sure, things don't seem normal. Nothing about the royal family nowadays is like it used to be. And it's not just Harry and Meghan. It's the moving out of royal residences, being in the news almost daily when before they weren't, unless something actually happened or they did something. I was right in my previous video about the Platinum Jubilee celebrations in June being full of unique events. However, they won't be quite as I put in my video. It will be the last Jubilee that the nation will see for at least 100 years, and they are trying to make this one more unique. For the 2012 Diamond Jubilee, the Queen was handed a cut glass diamond, which was used to light the beacon in London. But a globe is being used this time, and it's apparently a state secret for the moment. So there'll be plenty of choirs coming together to sing a song which is called A Life Lived with Grace. And another thing which proves just how impetuous and lacking foresight Harry is, just like his wife, because it's saying now that he does have regrets about not attending his grandfather's memorial service. Any normal person would realise that it would be something that they would regret, and that it would be, especially after not actually going to see them. And it's being said that he couldn't actually foresee the backlash. So it wasn't a case of doing it for his family or regretting it because they were hurt or regretting it because he feels bad now. It's because of the lack of popularity and the way that everybody spoke out against him. So that's more important to him than anything else. And if Prince Philip really meant something to him, wouldn't he have done it for him and for the members of Prince Philip's family, his distant cousins, and for that reason? So again, it was another bizarre decision that he made, and that's why I think it's obvious that he is, as Donald Trump says, completely whipped and obviously he's not allowed to go anywhere or do anything if Meghan doesn't suggest it or agree with it. He probably doesn't even have any of his own ideas anymore. He probably is only used to obeying her commands. And now it seems that Prince Andrew is stripped of a major British honour, and this is his Freedom of the City of York honour. So Prince Andrew received the ambassadorial title during a poignant ceremony held in 1987. So he became the Duke of York. But it seems as if the people of York are a bit like the people of Sussex, a bit fed up with the association. Andrew still denies any wrongdoing and doesn't admit to anything, but there are those, because of the association, who feel that he should be losing his titles. His military affiliations and royal patronages have already been returned to the Queen. So to take away the Duke of York, I suppose that would be a big deal for him. So it seems as if it's just the honorary status of Freedom of the City of York. So it's probably not even his Duke of York title, which was given to him by the Queen. So it seems as if it's only the Queen that can remove that title, and she's not removed Harry's, so why would she remove Andrew's? So the Queen conferred the Duke of York title on Andrew when he married Sarah Ferguson in 1986. And he then had the dukedom, which was previously held by King George V and King George VI. They were both Dukes of York. But as a wedding gift, the City of York Council also gave Andrew honorary Freeman of the City status in 1987. It will sever one of their most significant ties to Prince Andrew. So is that a step nearer to losing his title, the Duke of York? Who knows? So it seems as if they take that away from him, he could still keep his title. The process of removing the actual title, the Duke of York, would be a lot more complicated. And as far as I know, it would have to be decided by the Queen, and it would have to be passed through Parliament. So it's not his actual title removed, it's just this affiliation, honorary thing. And it looks as if Catherine is going to benefit from Prince Andrew losing one of his roles, and she's going to be taking one of his major roles of Colonel of the Grenadier Guards. So this would make her the first female colonel of the regiment in 80 years. The Queen held the role in 1942, which made her the last female to hold the title. And they are seriously considering Catherine being the next Colonel of the Grenadier Guards. So isn't it quite ironic that Prince Harry has lost one of his military titles to Princess Anne, and now Andrew could lose to Catherine? So it's the women that are taking the men's titles. Apparently the regiment have said that they would all love it to be Catherine. They admire the way that she's fitted in and behaved, and she never puts a foot wrong. And how committed she is. Once she takes something on, she really commits to it. So, yeah, they would love it. And how great that Catherine has come so good after all the criticism that she received in the days of dating Prince William, when the press were hounding her and his friends were calling her names, and so much criticism. Also, Meghan fans criticising Catherine. Because there is nothing really, she has not really put a foot wrong, and they have nothing on her, so she just keeps on stepping up to the plate with everything she does. So let me have your thoughts on all this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Please subscribe, ding my bell for more alerts, for more videos, like if you liked it, and share. Bye.